What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Sorare scouting video here on the channel today. Today we'll be looking at the under-23 keepers that will be starting for their teams in the next season. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into the keepers for next season. In order to make the video today, of course, I had a lot of people helping me, a lot of scouts from the community here on the Flindle channel helping me out. So, of course, I will link all of them in the description down below. If you guys could go and drop them a follow and maybe say Flynn sent you or whatever. If you guys need help with under-23 keepers or opinions and that sort of stuff, those are the people to be speaking to about that. And I'll sort of be shouting them out as the video goes on here. Also, something to note, guys, because it's going to be quite a long video here today because there's quite a lot of goalkeepers, I'm not going to talk too much in detail about every single goalkeeper. I'm just going to sort of give you guys what I know and how likely I think they will be to start in. Of course, what you guys should be doing here on Sorare is loading up a scouting tab and throwing all of these guys into perhaps a list to do with a long list of under 23 goalkeepers. Then you guys can look at prices and if they're starting and that sort of stuff. So yeah, obviously preemptively will say that this is being recorded way before the season starts, so a lot of this is sort of us assuming things. Things could happen in the transfer window where some of these keepers might get a move and then they might then become starting keepers, or a keeper could come in and replace them. So yeah, just bear that in mind when you're scouting on Sorare and perhaps thinking about buying some of these keepers, that the window's still open, these seasons are yet to start. With that being said, Melv helped me massively with the Austrian League, which is what we're going to cover here first. And kicking things off with Nikolas Polster, who was a fantastic keeper this year for Wolfsberger and or WAC, and we used him quite a lot in the under-23 Road to Glory, and you can see here, quite a reliable keeper, some pretty good scores in there, and even had a call-up to the national team. However, he obviously did not feature, but looks like a pretty solid pick, and I would say as far as Austrian League goalkeepers go, he's probably up there as one of the more nailed starting keepers. Moving on next to a new one, I believe this is Viktor Baier, whatever it is. You'll notice I don't have a Sorare page up on him because I don't think he has a Sorare card yet. However, he is on loan from Pison, as you can see here, to the Austrian League this season, and I do believe he's going to be the starting keeper for the Linz. I pretty much think if a goalkeeper's being loaned, especially at an age like this, they're going to be loaned to be a starting goalkeeper. So this one, obviously, there's a potential risk here, so bear that in mind, guys, but definitely one to scout or add to your Sorare tabs, as and when he gets a card and gets minted. Up next is another reliable one. It's Adam Stejskal, who of course played for Wattens in goal this year, and they actually done really well, and he probably was the best. He was definitely up there, one of the best Austrian under-23 goalkeepers the season just gone, so very likely he'll be starting again next season. As you can see here, some fantastic scores. Of course, with under-23s and with goalkeepers in general, you're going to have some bad scores in there, no doubt, but you guys can obviously come here, have a little look at the scores, see if you like it, and then perhaps be someone that you guys follow. Up next, we have another interesting one here. We have Daniil I probably should have started off the video by saying I'm horrible at pronouncing names, as you guys can probably tell by now. But I'll give it my best guess when they come on screen. But yeah, probably should say I'm not the best with pronunciations of names. So Daniil Khudyakov, sure. Now, before I will say this guy is actually injured at the moment, but apparently he's going to be the starting goalkeeper for Sturm Graz next season. However, like I said, he is injured at the moment, so bear that in mind when you're buying the card, that you probably won't have a goalkeeper. Well, he probably won't start the season in goal because I think his injury is pretty prominent. So bear that in mind with pricing and preparing your teams. But of course, he is, I think, the starting goalkeeper for Sturm Graz, so had to include him in the video here today. And the last one from the Austrian League is Lukas Jungwirth. I believe he's going to be the starting goalkeeper for Elia SK next year. Again, This one is a bit more of a risky one and not 100% nailed, but as things stand, I think he is the starting goalkeeper. And as I said, I'm trying to give you guys a rough idea of the the likelihood here of like players playing. So obviously, if it's a new guy coming into a new team and things like that, there is obviously potential. So in terms of the ones we've just listed here, I would say Polster and Stejskal are probably the most likely to be playing. Viktor's obviously just moved, so very likely, but not as nailed as the other two, of course. Same with Jungwirth, same sort of thing. And then Daniil, of course, injured, but likely to be the starting goalkeeper. Are you looking to become a Sorare manager? If so, I would really appreciate if you use the link down below in the description to sign up, because you'll be helping out a small creator like myself. And also, the benefit that you guys get from that is if you buy 5 cards from the auction house or the instant buy market, then you'll receive £50 in-game credits. Okay, so our next block of goalkeepers is massively helped by MDK. Of course, links in the description down below to his Twitter. He is probably the most common scout, I guess, that I use for this channel, because he helps me out massively with a lot of the videos I record, so any support for him would be greatly appreciated, guys. And yeah, our next block of goalkeepers is going to be Trubin. Of course, some of these are pretty obvious, guys, but I had to include them in the video because they are starting goalkeepers next season. So yeah, Trubin, starting goalkeeper for Benfica. I'm not going to talk too much about him. You guys probably know. He's probably one of the best under-23 goalkeepers on Sorare right now, so yeah. And then up next we have another pretty nailed one in Restes. Of course, you guys probably know a lot about the first two, so don't need to talk too much about them. Not going to waste too much time. A great young French goalkeeper, and of course Trubin, you know, Champions League level, so yeah. And then up next we have Andreas Jungdal, who was the goalkeeper for Westerlo last season, and I believe he's going to be the starting goalkeeper. I believe he's going to be the starting goalkeeper again, so there is another one to add to your list. And he, again, Westerlo, obviously a pretty good team in the Belgian league, so definitely a good one to have. And another thing to notice as well, he does play for the Denmark under-21s. I don't know how much that is going to be scored in the future of Sorare, but potentially something to think about in the future, that he has at least represented his country on some sort of level, so he's a decent goalkeeper to have in the gallery. Up next we have Tobe Leysen, who was a fantastic goalkeeper as well this year. So if you played Sorare this year, you probably know about Tobe, a great goalkeeper in the Belgian league, and again, likely to be a starting goalkeeper for his club next season. So last but not least for this block is another fantastic goalkeeper in Noah Atubolu, who of course performed for, well, got to the final with Germany under-21s. So again, another one that has represented his country at a decent level, and of course is a starting goalkeeper for Freiburg, and probably will remain to be the starting goalkeeper. As you can see, some insane scores, and again, someone that I don't need to talk too much about because his CV speaks for himself. Zion Suzuki, a great Japanese goalkeeper for Parma. I believe him to be a starting goalkeeper next season. Now, this is an interesting one because he has been linked with a few moves away from the club. However, I think, well, I'd like to assume no matter where he goes, he will be a starting keeper for someone somewhere. So I did want to include him in the video here today because, again, this is sort of one where you know, maybe bear that in mind, that he could move to a club that maybe might bench him, but I very much doubt it. He's a great goalkeeper, and of course has played at the national level for, you know, got quite some good experience playing, you know, the odd game here or there for Japan. So a great goalkeeper, you can see here. His scores aren't the best, and that is because he is playing for Parma, who, you know, are not bad, but they're not exactly one of the better teams in the league. So his scores can sometimes reflect on that. Of course, the scoring with goalkeepers are going to change a little bit this year on Sorare, so we're yet to see how much that impacts them. But yeah, Zion, a great one to add to your watch list. Up next, we have Elia Caprile, another how do we say, another Serie A or Italian league goalkeeper here, and actually an Italian goalkeeper as well. And yeah, he did obviously play in net. Well, he did play in net last season, but I believe him to be the starting goalkeeper for Cagliari this season coming up as well. So another name to add to the list. And up next, we have an interesting one. It is Maarten Vandevoort, who of course was heavily linked to starting goal last season for Leipzig. However, of course, he was swapping in and out with Galashi. Um, and I just, yeah, I'm putting this one in here because I'm pretty confident he is going to be the starting goalkeeper coming into next season. However, bearing in mind, guys, this is a very popular goalkeeper, so his price might be a little bit expensive, especially for I don't know. Maybe I mean Leipzig are a fantastic team as well, so yeah. Great goalkeeper, but perhaps a little bit expensive because he's quite like he's deemed as like a Sorare legend. So yeah, and then up next we have Verbruggen, of course. Probably, in my opinion, probably the best under-23 keeper in the world right now, playing in the Premier League for Brighton. That might be Premier League bias because obviously that is the league I watch. But yeah, Netherlands #1. And just, yeah, I don't really need to say too much about Bart. Fantastic keeper, and his price will probably reflect in that. And I'm assuming he's going to be quite expensive, so bear that in mind. If you're trying to hit podiums or whatever in under 23, this is probably your man, but he's going to be expensive. So yeah. And then last for this block is Maarten Vandevoort. Sorry, again, bad with names, probably not how you say it, but yeah, Sporting Charleroi keeper for next season. And you can see he sort of got his opportunity at the back end of last season, and I anticipate that he will be the starting goalkeeper for next season for Charleroi. Kayne Van Oevelen. Again, probably just killing his name there, but a starting goalkeeper in the Eredivisie, I believe, next season. And he did get a slight opportunity at the back end of last season. And again, this one is maybe a bit risky, but again, someone that I believe to be a starting goalkeeper next season. So I am including him in the video here today. Of course, add him to your watch lists and see his price and things like that before purchasing. But yeah, a goalkeeper in the Eredivisie. But I will say, playing for Volden. Oh my god. Volendam, probably not the best club in the league, obviously, so might struggle a bit for scores. But yeah, moving on to a bit of a legend this season. God, these names are killing me. Owusu-Oduro. Oh my god. I know he's a great goalkeeper. I've heard of him. I've seen him before. He played really well this season, as you can see here. Went for a little bit of a purple patch well, for goalkeepers anyway, purple patch. And then yeah, at the start of the season, maybe a little bit rough, but of course he's still learning. He's still young. He's an under-23 goalkeeper, so we've got to give him the time. Of course, playing for AZ as well, so a slightly better team in the Eredivisie. So yeah, pretty decent goalkeeper, but no doubt, again, going to be one of the expensive ones for next season. Moving on to an interesting one. This is Jaros, who is going to be playing for Ajax this season, of course, replacing the GOAT, Pasveer. And Jaros actually played a game. Yeah, he came off the bench for Liverpool, and now he has gone to join Ajax, and probably going to be their starting goalkeeper. Well, yeah, he's going to be their starting goalkeeper next season for sure, and I think he'll do really well. So definitely a good one to keep your eyes out on for. Again, his price will probably be quite expensive. Moving on to the next goalkeeper, we have Stankovic, who is going to be in goal for Venezia. So yeah, going to be a starting goalkeeper, I'm pretty sure, next season, and looks pretty decent. You can see here he's done the business before in the Serie A, so pretty reliable pair of hands, and I think he's going to get an opportunity to show what he's got next season, being the starting goalkeeper. And last, for the little block of players here, I actually owned a Turati in my gallery this season. Of course, he was the Monza goalkeeper, I believe, in this season that has just gone, and he looks to be... Oh no, Monza, I'm pretty sure he was. And he's gone to Sassuolo, I'm assuming, to be a starting goalkeeper for next season, of course, to remain a starting goalkeeper, because of course he was this season as well, as you can see here. He wasn't exactly insane, but he wasn't bad, so yeah, definitely his price might be on the cheaper end, because he is playing, you know, in the champion region at a team that isn't the best in the league, so potentially a really good budget option for those of you guys that might be budget managers in Sorare. A very popular man up next is Chevalier, of course the Lille starting goalkeeper, and a great goalkeeper. Once again, price will probably reflect in that, and you can see here, pretty consistently played last year, and yeah, should be the starting goalkeeper this season for Lille, so had to include him in here. Up next, we have Johannas Schenk, who is perhaps a little bit less known, and he is going to be the starting goalkeeper for Preußen Munster, however you say it. Sorry, probably saying it wrong, but yeah, German league side, and yeah, he actually performed decent at the back end of last season, so I'm assuming he will keep his starting spot for his club. And another popular man, Epolo, I believe he was injured, or I'm pretty sure he was injured for quite a while here, as you can see. But a great scorer on Sorare, as you can see here, playing for Stade Liège. Of course, one of the better teams in their league, so gives him an opportunity to score well. At least that's how Sorare scoring keepers happen, or that's how it played out this season. So. Yeah, Apollo, very young still, and looks like a very good goalkeeper for his team, so should be starting. Up next, maybe one that is a little bit, what's the right word? Yeah, maybe less known. A goalkeeper who obviously used to play for Benfica, and looks like he has gone out to Alverca. Oh, I'm horrible with names, Jesus. Alverca in Portugal, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be the starting goalkeeper next season, so definitely one to keep an eye out for. And this one is one where potentially we could get a good deal on, because maybe perhaps not many people, looking at this, people will be like, oh, he's not going to start, but I think he has a very good chance of starting in this up and coming season. And last player, very popular, Robin Roofs, who plays in the Eredivisie. Again, a very young Dutch goalkeeper. It seems to be quite a lot of young Dutch goalkeepers playing the Eredivisie, which is a good selling point for the league, I guess, giving a lot of opportunity to the youngsters to play. And you can see here scoring fantastically for his club, and I have no doubt that he'll be the starting goalkeeper for his side next season. For the final segment of the video here today, James Johnson helped us out on Twitter. Of course, a link will be found in the description down below, where he sort of went through each keeper just to double check that he's pretty happy with the ones that we have got here. I'm pretty confident that most of them are going to start. Of course, I wanted to really make sure that everyone I suggest is very likely to be playing in goal, because of course I'm assuming that a lot of you guys are watching this video to get an idea of some of the keepers you might want to buy going into next season. With that being said, we have another perhaps sleeper pick here, potentially a cheap one. I don't think he has a card on Sorare at the moment. Let me have a quick look. Oh, looks like he does. But we have Timo Schlieck, who has gone on loan to Greuther Fürth, and of course they did have Nahuel Noll, who we'll talk a little bit about later on in the video, but looks like he is going to be the replacement. Another very young goalkeeper going in net for them, so hopefully he can do well. However, the club, isn't exactly the best in the league, so he might struggle a little bit in terms of scores. Maybe do a little bit of what Noll done this season. So yeah, bear that in mind. Probably quite a budget option for you guys. Next up, we have a very popular one, and definitely not a budget one. It's Lammens, who is the Antwerp goalkeeper. Again, not going to speak too much about him because you guys know him. Great great scorer, great team, and probably going to be expensive. And the last one here on the list before we go into some other more questionable picks is Samuel Pizignasso, Monza goalkeeper, and essentially the replacement to Turati, who we talked about earlier. Again, I'm assuming he's going to be the starting goalkeeper, as the main goalkeeper has left the club now. So yeah, an opportunity for him to step up, but of course a tough team, a tough league. Oh, actually saying that, I believe Monza actually got relegated, so this one might be a pretty good pickup for next season potentially, because yeah, actually very good. Yeah, bear that in mind, guys. Keep an eye out for this one. Definitely add him to your scouting centres, because he could do a job for Monza next season. Yes, guys, to round off the video today, I did want to talk about some of the goalkeepers that are a little bit more up in the air, but there is definitely a good chance that they could be starting. I did just want to touch upon them in this video. Now, I will say to you guys before we round off the video today, There is almost certainly going to be some goalkeepers I miss. Of course, transfer window is currently ongoing, so there could be some that move. There could be goalkeepers that come in and replace the guys that I've suggested. So a lot could change between the time of recording this, uploading it, and you guys seeing the video. However, I've tried my best to accumulate all of the goalkeepers that I think have the best opportunity or the best chance. Of course, with that being said, remember to do your own scouting on this sort of stuff, guys. And we're kicking things off, or kicking off the questionable ones, with James Trafford. Now, heavily linked with a move to Newcastle. I'm almost certain he is going to be a Newcastle player next season. However, it's not 100% confirmed in times of recording. Like I said, when you guys see this, he could already be a Newcastle player. I'm pretty sure it's nearly, almost certainly going to happen. But you never know in football. There is the odd there is the odd occasion where something could fall through. However, I believe obviously, if you guys don't know, Trafford, probably the best under-23 keeper last season. You could just see from the scores here. A phenomenal job in the Championship. He's English, so he's going to play. You would like to assume he's going to play. Now, there is a couple of things to note, or this is why he has been put in the questionable category, because Eddie Howe, as a manager, loves to not just throw, especially new signings. Well, he mainly does this with injured players. When injured players come back from a long-term injury, he doesn't just throw them in the starting lineup straight away. He eases them back into the squad. Same with new signings. They sort of have to earn their position in the squad. He does that quite a lot, Eddie Howe. So, with that being said, I have put him in the questionable category because even if he does sign for Newcastle, if Pope doesn't leave, there is a very good opportunity. There is a very good or realistic world here where him and Pope fight for the number one spot. For the people that are outside looking in, that might be a bit crazy. Like, some of you might be thinking, Pope isn't that good, Trafford should get the spot. And I think a lot of Newcastle fans probably would agree with you, but it still makes it questionable for me. If you've got two number one goalkeepers, it's a bit risky. So I would say for this one, especially with his price, bear in mind there is a very good chance that Pope is not going to be happy to sit on the bench. Neither is Trafford. So, yeah, there is every world where Pope could move, and if Pope does move, and of course, when you guys are seeing this, if Pope has moved clubs, then Trafford should be the starting goalkeeper at Newcastle, assuming he goes to Newcastle. So, yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into hand here, hence why I haven't just straight up put him into a starting squad. This is more like the questionable segment. And then up next we have Nahuel Noll, again, one that was sort of a starting goalkeeper last season. However, he's moved to Hanover. I'm assuming that's to get game time, but again, quite a questionable one. I'm not 100%, so that's why I put him into this sort of segment of the video where I'm not really convinced. I don't really know, so I'm going to put the name out there for you guys to scout. And potentially, you guys can make your own opinion on whether you think he will start or not. And then looking at Mike Penders, this is kind of a weird one as well, because it's like, time of recording, he's still a Chelsea player, but surely, again, I spoke a little bit about this with James, but surely he's got to go probably to like Strasbourg or somewhere like that on loan, because he's a great goalkeeper and he'd just be wasted at Chelsea. Same with Jorgensen, actually, honourable mention at Chelsea. You just like to think that they don't want to sit on the bench and waste their career like great under-23 goalkeepers. So, yeah, Jorgensen and Mike Penders sort of a shout here for Chelsea's, third team or whatever you want to say. Definitely players that should be, or goalkeepers that should be starting somewhere, and they're both under 23. So hopefully Chelsea do us all a favour and loan them out. And last person to note here is Obed Nkambadio. I believe he's actually a very good goalkeeper, but Paris have moved. I believe they got promoted last season. Paris FC. I could be wrong there, but I think they did. So there is a chance he could get replaced. However, he is a great goalkeeper. So, and you can see here he scored pretty well. So he's probably going to get his opportunity. However, I believe they're himself might even be linked with a move away, so I wasn't too sure in this one. Again, hence why I've included him in this part of the video, because I wasn't like 100% nailed about these ones here. Pretty much all of these last four, I was sort of thinking I don't really want to 100% say they're going to start, but I want to include them because they're great goalkeepers and I think they should start. I mean, I have unfortunately experienced this myself on Sorare, where last season I bought loads of Jorgensens thinking he was going to be the starting goalkeeper for Chelsea because he was so good at Villarreal, and he just sat on the bench all season. So that's why I'm sort of saying take these last four with a pinch of salt, because I've had the pain of buying an under-23 goalkeeper who I thought was a starter but is not a starter. So bear that in mind with these four. If you do purchase them, there is a chance you could get Jorgensen, or you could get, you could experience the same pain that I went through, so bear that in mind. So there you have it, guys. There is all the under-23 starting goalkeepers that I could conjure up in this video for you today. Of course, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that I've probably missed someone, so let me know in the comments down below, who did I miss, who are the players that you are scouting going into next season. You can even include some outfield players in there if you like, but of course this video is heavily focused on the goalkeepers. So all of you scouts out there, let us know in the comments who are we missing to add to our scouting centres. If you guys did enjoy the video, please do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace.